now return to the Transformers.
How's it going, YouTube? Welcome back to Cracked Open Games and Toys. Today we're checking out the new Studio Series Thundercracker. I know I am super late to this guy. Had a little bit of trouble finding him. Finally got him off of Amazon a little bit ago. But yeah, we'll be checking out him, and I'd like to do kind of a more thorough comparison with some of these older versions of Thundercracker, the Earthrise series, and this older Classics Generations Thundercracker. So yeah, we'll be taking a constant look at these other figures throughout the review as we check out this new one and see if he's really worth the extra money that you'll be spending on him. Alright guys, let's get this guy cracked open and check him out. Alright, here's everything that we're going to get in the accessories. We get the figure, the two null rays, and then some tail fins and some additional parts. Let's get all these additional parts connected, and then we'll check out the robot mode. Alright, these guys look like they're going to be back filler pieces for the wings, so we're just going to spin him around here, and then press those guys in there. That's kind of weird how they did these in separate pieces. I've actually never seen that on a Seeker figure before. Not exactly sure, maybe just because they're pointed here and they didn't want to break off, who knows. And then these tail fin sections are just going to plug into the little ports down here on the legs. Good to go. Here's a look at the null rays. Really nice sculpt. Let's go ahead and plug those into the biceps. Alright, cool. He's all set up now. And yeah, we'll go ahead and check out the robot mode next. So yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at this guy in robot mode. And just, yeah, taking a first glance at him, he is a very nice looking robot. Let's get a look at that head sculpt. Check that out. Very cool. Very Thundercracker. It is painted gray under there, so you do get a bit of a painted head sculpt, which is really nice. And yeah, let's check out all the articulation on him. Head is on a ball joint. Can do that complete 360. Shoulders. We can move the wings out a little bit if you want to get that full 360 rotation. He does have that, and he gets out to there with the bend at the shoulder. We do have a 360 bicep swivel. You can't go all the way around. I've just got these null rays on there right now, so you'd have to take those off to do that. It does have a bend at the elbow, which will get you out to there, and we have a swivel at the wrist. So all the stuff you would ideally want. The arm rotation. We do get a little bit of a waist swivel there, and if you move this, let's see, hip skirt a little bit, we can get any more clearance than that. Not really. That's kind of the limitation of it there. Let's put that guy back. And as far as the legs go, yeah, pretty much all the way out to the side. And front, this hip skirt will move up a little bit if you need that extra room there. And as far as the back goes, just again, because of that piece that's back there, you're going to get about that much, not the full rotate or full bend there. Knees or actually we have thigh. We got full 360 there with that mushroom peg. Knees will get you almost 90. And then we do have because of the transformation on these toes, those will go all the way up there. And you do also get a rocker there. So pretty generous on all the articulation. And it's nice that we have a waist swivel again on the Seekers, which is awesome. So yeah, this guy kind of checks all the boxes as far as what you'd want for articulation, which is sweet. But let's take a look at some of the older Thundercracker figures, just in comparison, so you can kind of see it. If you've already got this Siege one, what you'd kind of be seeing there as far as the differences go, because this guy did not have a wrist swivel, so that's one big thing there that you're getting with the new one. And he doesn't have any type of waist rotation either, so those are two big things. I do still like the appearance of this guy a lot, and I think I like his darker colors a little bit too. I think this is probably more animation accurate, but yeah, I mean, if you've already got this one, I don't know, it's really close, but maybe that's enough for you. Maybe that's what you're looking for. And as far as this Classics one, I think we're kind of, if you own this guy, it's probably time to upgrade. This isn't the scale anymore that they're going by. So if you're, you can keep this guy in your Classics collection or whatever, but for being like a 10-plus-year-old figure, like, this is what we're dealing with now. The arms are still pretty tight on this guy, but as far as like the legs go, I mean, I don't know if those are ever any tighter than that. They are just on ball pegs, so it is what it is. And he's definitely a deluxe scale, so a little bit shorter than the rest of the guys here. Yeah, there's a look at all three of those dudes together. And one other one I want to toss in the mix here, because I think it's still a really good toy, is the Tetrajet. And while I'm not going to say that it's G1, it's hard to say, because it is G1. Tetrajets were definitely a part of G1. However, it's like pre-G1, and this is, moving into Siege territory because you got the battle damage parts and stuff. But this is still a really, really good figure. I mean, all the parts on here are still super tight. This being like from 2017, 2018, around then. And yeah, just a really, really nice figure. Yeah, the only part on this guy, why I think so many people dislike this mold in general, is because this plate here is not pinned. And this, because it's not pinned here, you can just, yeah, I just did it on mine. Like you can see, it comes off the hinges here. And that's really, really annoying. And such a detriment to an otherwise just awesome mold that, man, if they had just pinned these figures, I don't think I ever would have upgraded past the Tetrajet. I mean, the Tetrajets are just so freaking fantastic. They look great. And as like I said this before, but I really do like the weathering, and I like this entire look that Siege went for. I know some people don't, but man, I think I would have kept my Tetrajets for my Classics figures and been a happy camper. Let's go ahead and take a look at the instruction manual and then the transformation. All right, as always, guys, here's a look at the instruction manual. All right, let's start off by disarming his null race here. And just kind of move his hands forward. And then these guys will open up and just flip in the fist there. Close them up. Move the arms down to the side, and we're going to kind of unlock this waist section by just pulling back on it slightly like that. We can then slide this whole cockpit section up, and we can flip out this entire section here. We're going to, if this hasn't already, unhinged for you, we're going to pull this whole assembly up a little bit there. And then before you move the arms in. You saw that flip up already, but these little hip skirts are going to fold in there. And then you can go ahead and fold the arms in after that. And then this whole assembly will come back down and lock in. It's going to tab into those little ports where the null rays were, so that'll all lock in and secure there. Now we're going to come around to the back, and we're going to kind of slide the head in between those two panel pieces there, flip up the nose cone, tab this whole thing together, and then we can tab these back pieces together, push that all in together, and tab that in with the top of the cockpit section. And does this guy actually have an opening cockpit? He does. Look at that. That's pretty sick. Now let's come to the back of the legs, and we're going to untab these sections here and kind of combiner wars. It's very minor, but you're just going to hinge these down just slightly, just like that, and then tab it back together. Go ahead and connect the legs, and then this piece here is going to flip over, and you're going to want to put a little bit of pressure on that so this stays flat here, and then connect that to the back of the legs so that's all kind of flat and tabbed in together. There we go. We can come to the feet and just flip those guys up, and the tail fins, spin them around on both sides, and then you can fold those tail fins down too. And we can flip the wings back, lock all this stuff together. And I don't know why, yeah, the instructions say to, I'll show you guys in 1 second. I'm just gonna force it in, but I think a more reasonable way to do that step would be to rotate these tail fins after you have flipped the wings down. Last part, we want to put these null rays back, and I guess you could use either port here. I kind of like them on the ports that are a little further out. That seems a little more jet accurate to me, so I do that. And we can also fold his landing gear down as well. And there we go. Yeah, we'll go ahead and take a look at 360 at his alt mode next. Alright, so besides the 360 of this guy, just one other thing to take note of. Underneath, he does have this huge hollow section there, which is very different than the other Seekers, but that's just how he transforms and what you're going to be looking at if you flip this guy over. It does have landing gear though. Nothing on the back legs or anything. No, they're spinning wheels, or not even, this is a molded plastic bit, but that's what you're going to be looking at there for Thundercracker. Here is the War for Cybertron Earthrise, and yeah, quite a different color variation between those two. You can definitely see in the jet mode. Again, up to personal preference. I think this one's more cartoon accurate, and this one is going to be just more like toy accurate there. So that's what you're looking at between those two. And this guy, just to show you, he did a little bit of a cavity underneath, not quite as bad as the new one, and no landing gear whatsoever on this guy. So that's what you're going to see on the underside. And here is the older Generations Deluxe. And yeah, quite a considerable size difference between these guys. And again, this one has the more toy coloring on it as well. And this one does have fold-out landing gear, but it's from the intakes, which is kind of weird. You would think it had a flip-down one here, but that is just part of the transforming piece for the nose cone and nothing else. And this one does have, again, quite a big gap on the underside. So yeah, kind of all these Thundercracker figures have that just due to the transformation. And just for fun, here is the Tetra Jet from Siege. And yeah, again, they went with the darker color on this one. So this guy here is really the only one that has the lighter color scheme on it, which is actually pretty cool. They have that variation. I didn't really notice that too much when I was looking through them. And underside of this guy, not much besides his folded up legs, which are pretty obvious there. But I still like this one a lot just because we never got any other Tetra Jets. That's the only ones. This guy's popped out on the side a little bit. But yeah, these are the only Tetra Jets that we've ever had. And it's a pretty nice toy besides this one part here, again, with that that unpegged piece of plastic there. But that's what that is. So yeah, we'll be back with some final thoughts. And we've been doing comparisons throughout this video, so I did skip that section for this one just because we've been comparing to the older Thundercrackers for the entirety of the video. So how about just one quick one? We'll throw them in there with Soundwave to see how those two guys look together. And yeah, like we're coming along here with these tune-styled Studio Series bots, whatever you want to call them. Yeah, they look really nice together. And just for height measurement, let's see what we're coming in at here. Right about 6 1/4 up to the top of the intakes there. So yeah, I guess the bottom line for this one is it worth upgrading? Is it worth the money upgrading if you guys already have this one, or maybe a Tetra Jet or one of the older ones? And I think yes. I think at the end of the day, yeah, it is a close to a $50 figure with tax and everything if once you factor that in. But I think the benefits are there. Because what you're basically getting is, if you didn't get the updated Masterpiece Thundercracker, that's what you're basically getting in a smaller scale here. And I think as a downscaled Masterpiece, he really works well and looks nice and fits in with that new kind of tune aesthetic that they're doing for the Studio Series 86. Now, again, if you already have one of these older figures like the War for Cybertron Earthrise Thundercracker, I mean, it's going to be negligible, and you'll have to decide on that for yourself, because what you're basically getting between the two is the aesthetic difference, the added waist and wrist rotation, and a little bit cleaner on the transformations. So you're going to have to make up your mind if that is worth an entire upgrade for you, as well as if you already have all three of these, Starscream and Skywarp, and you're good on that set. Like, this is going to cost you close to another $150 to upgrade to this look. So I think, like, if that's a fact, if cost is a factor for you, you really have to think about that and decide if the difference between these two is worth the extra $150, because they're coming out with Skywarp soon, and you know that either a new Coronation Starscream, or just a new Starscream in general is going to be following that. So yeah, I think that'll wrap this one up. I think he is a really good figure. I was a little disappointed in the transformation at first once I did it the first time, but doing it another time through, I'm pretty happy with it now after figuring out like the ins and outs of it, and just playing with the figure a little bit more. He's super sturdy. You can do the shake test and everything, and he's good to go. And yeah, I do think he's worth the upgrade, even if you're coming from this guy. I think that he's a nice looking bot, and he will fit well with the new figures that they're releasing in that 86 line. So yeah, guys, remember to like and share, leave a comment down below if you have any questions or anything, and I'll be sure to get back to you. Definitely check out the channel and consider subscribing. And we still got one more Thundercracker to get to eventually when I get to do the trio of War for Cybertron dudes. So in the future, this will be coming. I just haven't gotten around to that quite yet. Alright guys, until next time, take care and have fun.